Hello and welcome to Entirely English. Entirely English is an online English school, and this YouTube channel is to help people from other cultures understand the British. In this mini-series, we've been looking at questions that the British have been asked about themselves, or the people have asked about the British. And if you've been following the series, you might notice that I'm re-recording this one. It's different to the previous one. That is because I bought a new microphone. Yay! Invest money in your YouTube channel. And it's absolute garbage. As you will have noticed if you watched, and I hope you did, watch the previous video. The sound quality was dreadful, and that's after I put it through several programs to try to improve it. So I've returned to using the microphone built into the webcam. So apologies for the sound quality on the last one. I hope it was okay so you could follow what was being discussed. But now let us return to our questions that people ask the British or ask about the British from this red discussion. Again, there will be points where the screen moves very fast or where there's jerks on editing because I'm cutting through all the stuff, most of the stuff about Americans. Because it does seem that this discussion is focused a lot on Americans. We'll try to find other people or just interesting questions they ask. So let's go. This is an interesting one. Do you have cider in England? Now, I probably am wrong, but I think the Romans probably invented cider. But we do like to think that cider was the creation of the South Country in England, Dorset, Cornwall, Devon particularly, is the home of cider. And Scrumpy. Scrumpy is a rough cider, not like that stuff you buy in the supermarkets called Scrumpy. Scrumpy is the sort of that's brewed in the bathtub. So yes, anyway, we do have cider in England. It's very popular in pubs, etc. Again, lots of American ones. While living in Japan, I once met a Japanese guy in his late 20s who asked me in all seriousness what language we speak in England. I was very surprised to learn that it is, in fact, English. Yeah, it's named for the people, for the country. England, English. There are varieties of English, obviously American English, Australian English, Canadian English, Jamaican English, but English, the root is here in this country. Does it really rain every single day in England? Japanese people. No, as I mentioned in the previous video, it doesn't rain every day in England. Today we have 27 degrees sunshine, and it's the middle of May. So no, it doesn't rain every single day in England. It's quite a nice balance between rain and sunshine usually. And this is one of those stereotypical questions you can't blame this Japanese man for thinking that, because he's watched films and drama shows where they kind of encourage this stereotypical image. Do you like stargazy pie? Is it really common in England? I saw this in a YouTube video. It's some sort of pie and there's fish heads sticking out of it looking up. And maybe it's just me being squeamish, but I would not touch that. When I have fish served, I prefer the chef to serve it without the head and tail. I don't like being looked at by my food. It's not very common. It is something from Japan, I think. I never even heard of stargazy pie until I moved to Japan. Yeah, I grew up near Green Street, so yeah, definitely not common for me. I don't know where Green Street is. While getting a severe talking to by the Lebanese security service, after about 45 minutes, I got asked, "So, is David Beckham gay?" I think my response was, well, he's married to Posh Spice, so no. It is a strange question. Why would they ask him that? Because he's so obsessed with his appearance, with all the hair gel and the eyeliner and those gross tattoos? Very uncommon one, I think. I've had loads. What's it like being British is one. I don't know. I don't know any different. What's it like being from your country? Actually, I would say it's wonderful being British. It is great. We have free healthcare. We've got a very nice language. We've got a good education system, not as good as it was since our government started trying to tailor it so it's more like the American system, which is a failure. And Boris Johnson was talking about giving our National Health Service to Trump in his last tenure, which would destroy this country. But generally, being British is great. What about you? What about your country? Is it good being from your country? Are you proud of your country? Tell me in the comments. All right. My story I love to share. I took some Kiwi ladies, that's ladies from New Zealand, there for a visit. For those who don't know, Arundel Castle is built on a hill, a steep hill. We were told that someone would give us a lift down in a golf buggy, just ask. So we've looked around and we're at the top. One of the ladies flags down a worker on his golf buggy and asked if he'd take us down to the entrance. He looked surprised but agreed. Kiwi ladies asking him what's his name. Dave, he said. How long he's worked there, does he enjoy it, and so on. He was very nice, but kept giving us curious glances. He also had a plummy accent. Plummy means like you've got plums stuck in your teeth. Gradually, it was as though we each had a telepathic thought conveyed to one another. And once he dropped us off, we looked at each other and went, "You don't suppose?" Nah, couldn't have been. But to this day, we are convinced we commandeered the Duke of Norfolk on his golf buggy to drive us down to the bottom of the hill. I wouldn't be surprised. The people have this idea that the aristocracy, the gentry, are stuck up and would not talk to the peasants. But actually, they're really nice people generally. They can afford to be. You meet somebody like Prince Charles, and they are so considerate people. King Charles, oops. My entire life under Queen Elizabeth, it's difficult to get into the habit of saying King Charles. Why do you all eat mint sauce? You all is probably y'all, probably an American, but because the Brits eat lamb. Really, in Germany they pretty much eat only pig. The French have a bash at lamb, but most of the others don't, though they will eat mint in vinaigrette. Yeah, people who eat lamb put this mint sauce on it. It's kind of mint in a sort of jelly. I'm not sure the actual ingredients, but they say it enhances the flavour of the lamb, just like you might put applesauce on pork chops. So it's not that weird. Similarly, why do you put vinegar on chips? That includes the French. No, the British have malt vinegar and salt on chips instead of mayo, and everyone that tries it goes, "Oh, bloody hard to get malt vinegar anywhere outside of the British Isles." Yeah, personally, I like to put the salt on the fish and chips first and then put the vinegar on. The vinegar breaks down the oils and the fats and gives it an enhanced flavour. People who put mayo on chips are just cynics. It's like, I really want to get fat, give me more carbohydrates. Yeah. It is, I tried it once because I was encouraged to. It's horrible. Actually, this is an interesting point. We talked about people always being asked, have you met the Queen? Nowadays, they would say, have you met the King? This person makes a very good point. Yes, I went to Buckingham Palace and had tea with her once. Sounds like they're joking, but it goes on to say 30,000 people a year attend the garden parties, although only a small number actually meet a royal. So they have these garden parties and they invite members of the public, military, etc. So there is a good chance of meeting the royal, King Charles, and yeah. So it's, again, not such a stupid question. Having worked in India and travelled for leisure all over, I get asked where I live, and always, is that near London? No. Is it in Scotland? No. It's near Manchester. Ah, is Manchester not near London? Yeah, it does appear that everybody thinks that places are near London. Or maybe it's just that they only know London, and if you say it's near London, they've got an idea. You just need to say, no, it's far away, which is relative. 60 miles in Britain is far away. In somewhere like Ukraine, 60 miles is next door. maybe this is American, doesn't say. Buying a TV, and the guy asked me if we had VCRs in England. I told him we do. We even have indoor plumbing too. Well, it's obviously an old one, VCRs. I don't know anybody who has a VCR these days. That's a video cassette recorder. Okay, let's skip it. And this person continues with what the other one was saying. It's not that uncommon to have met the Queen. She often greeted and made chit-chat with people at public events. People gave her flowers, etc., especially on the street. I think I met her twice, and I'm in my 30s. I've seen her in person at least 5 times, mostly as a kid on VE Day and the like. Probably helps to live in London. Yeah, yeah, London or Edinburgh, where they often did their walkabouts. But they went all over the country. They've been walkabouts in Australia, not an Australian walkabout. They've wandered around in Australia meeting the public. And, okay, these two link in together. We talked before about people saying, "Oh, you're from England, then you must know Dave." This person makes a really good response. But yeah, but I guess that. Decades ago, my aunt went to visit her son in Australia. Got invited to some Australian's house for dinner and introduced to her neighbours who had immigrated from England, who, my aunt discovered, were my parents' former neighbours when they lived in the UK. So, small world. A few years ago, I decided to go to a meet-up in a pub in London, TripAdvisor. So overseas visitors and locals, I'm not a Londoner, but still a local, I guess, can mingle. I didn't go to many of these, as it's an hour each way. Anyway, got introduced to a couple from Israel. "Oh," say I, "my brother lives in Israel." "Whereabouts?" I name a town. He's at the university there. Guy replies, "I work there too." Pauses, thinks, and says, "Is your brother?" and names my brother. So these days I actually do ask people if they might know someone, and I never mind if I'm asked the same. It's a small world. Absolutely. Discussed this before. It's so possible that you do know somebody from an area, small country, uh, an entire continent. When I lived in China, I was asked if we ate rice in the UK many times. It's not a bad question. I might ask a Chinese person if they eat chips in China. And I mean chips, not crisps. Yeah, rice has spread around the world. Obviously, you've got this sort of paella in Spain. Yeah, Portugal, Spain, one of those. And there's rice dishes from Italy. So it has spread around the world. Yes, we do eat rice in Britain. It is it's a staple like potatoes or pasta. Is it true you have 4 seasons in the UK? Yes, it is. Asked with total earnestness by a young teenager from the Middle East. To be fair, they have hot and very hot with 2 days of monsoon between them. Yeah, 4 seasons, as I discussed in the previous one, makes life interesting. I've been asked if they put shark netting on our beaches. When I said no, they then asked about shark attacks and was quite concerned that I swam in the sea on. Don't know what happened to the end of that sentence, but yeah, we don't have shark nets. I know in Australia on the beaches, I've got a student who's based in Australia. They have the shark netting in the sea to protect the bathers, but we don't need that. We get very few sharks around Britain. The ones we get are not like the great whites, they're little things. I don't know if there's ever been a shark attack in Britain. May have been, not sure. I live in Edinburgh. Once in Madrid, I was asked what language they spoke there. Not a stupid question. In Scotland, they have 2 languages, as in Ireland and in Wales. They have Scottish Gaelic, there's Irish Gaelic and Welsh Gaelic. Yeah, in Edinburgh, they generally speak English, and they speak it with a very nice accent. The Edinburgh accent is one of the nicest Scottish accents, but the Gaelic is also part of their language. Okay, this one's funny. A guy once asked me what toot meant because he was messaging a woman from the UK. After a long conversation and was both on Google trying to work it out, he finally showed me the message she'd sent, and it said "tut" at the end of a very personal and disapproving message. Yeah, not tut, not toot. Tut. It's a word that symbolizes, it's a onomatopoeia. It's a word that represents the sound that's made. So when you go, kind of, oh my God, that's a tut. I've seen some novelists call it clicking the tongue, but that's very strange. It's just a tut. Although why they had problems finding the word toot, I don't know, because that is another word with several meanings. One of them like to toot your own horn. I was in Prague and got chummy with a German bloke. He was so taken aback as he had never met a Brit before. Get your grammar right. He asked me, "Please, can I buy you a drink?" In my mind, I thought, King English, of course, buy me a drink. Yeah, not just because we're a nation of alcoholics, not really, but it is this social thing to do. I talked in a previous video, I think it was on social manners about buying rounds. So yeah, of course you can buy me a drink. I was in Lisbon recently and ended up in a Nepalese restaurant, which was incredible to give it its due. And the waiter was asking me some questions about where I was from, etc. Explained I was from Scotland, which he couldn't seem to grasp wasn't London. Thought, okay, I'll narrow it down and say I'm somewhat close to Edinburgh. Edinburgh? Oh, okay. Is that near London then? Yeah, well, we just discussed it, but it's not just Americans. We've got Lebanese, Nepalese. I went to Italy a week after the Queen's funeral. We were outside a restaurant with a lot of Americans seated near us. When they heard us talking, they turned to us with very sympathetic faces and said, "I'm sorry for your loss." That's beautiful. That's nice. That's showing Americans in a very positive light, I think. Being from Liverpool, the questions are usually, what's your favourite Beatles song or who is your favourite football player? I hate both of these things. Anyway, so yes, mentioned this in the previous video, we don't all like football and the Beatles. Some of us loathe those things. I'm not a Brit myself, but this is what I would ask them if I met one. You don't really drive on the left, do you? Like, seriously, really on the left? I mean, generally not on the right, in the opposite direction, yes. Oh, so how much on the left do you drive? A lot? Oh, no, you must be kidding. So left side, yes? Well, I don't fully believe you, but at least it's definitely interesting. And as this person says, yes, we still drive on the correct side. There is a history to this. If you look back at the days of the knights, Middle Ages, etc., the people used to ride on their horses and they would pass each other on the right. There's a whole history thing about that. You know, it's about sword fighting, and when you're riding on a horse and wagon, you whip with your right hand. If you are sitting on the left, you would get the whip caught in the back. So yeah, riding on the left, sitting on the right is the correct form, and it was changed in Europe when Napoleon took over because he was left-handed, and the little person insisted that everybody ride on the right side, so their left sword arm was free, and people followed it. And when America started developing cars, they had the choice of left or right side, and because they wanted to separate themselves from the British even more, they chose the French style. That's the history in a nutshell. I've had very many, but the ones that stand out are New Yorker. England, is that in Miami? German, you don't have cheesecake in the UK. We do. Cheesecake is very popular, very tasty. Strawberry cheesecake, my favorite. Okay, and the final one here, just going to do a bit of this one. A really nice guy from the US, an American one to finish on, sorry about that, thought we didn't have beaches. Yeah, we mentioned this, I think, in the first video. Britain is an island. England, apart from where it joins Wales and Scotland, is all coastline. So we have beaches, not just sheer cliffs dropping into the sea. Although some parts of do. Okay, so that's the last of those. As I said, I think I made a bit of a mistake by choosing that Reddit discussion because it was focused more on ridiculous questions, or what they considered to be ridiculous questions. There's an old phrase I was taught while studying to be a teacher at university, which is there's no such thing as a stupid question, just a stupid answer. Actually, once you start teaching kids, you realize there are some stupid questions. But that aside, we're going to finish off this video with a question one of the viewers asked in the comments on the first video, which was, why do the British insult each other? Now, I'm not sure where this came from, but I have a suspicion. You are familiar with the British stiff upper lip. Don't show emotions. Don't let the foreign Johnnies know that you're upset, that sort of thing. And it's still very much part of the culture. The British gentleman does not show his feelings in public. And I think that's possibly where this comes from. So instead of saying, "Oh, Dave, it's good to see you. I've missed you, mate," say, "Hey, fatty, what are you doing here? Nobody wants you here." That sort of thing. It's the opposite of what we're actually feeling in order to share that emotion, but in a jocular or humorous way, I think. Or it could be that we're just all and we don't like each other. I don't think that's true. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, please click like. If you want to stay up to date with the coming videos, click subscribe. And if you know somebody who would appreciate these, enjoy them, find them interesting or informative, please share the videos. All right. I'm not sure, we might do another Reddit discussion one next time. Do say in the comments what you thought of this. Is it useful? Would you like to see more of this sort of thing? Or again, pop in the comments anything you would like to know. Say down there anything that would interest you. Like the other viewer did. They asked this question about why we insult each other, which I thought was a really good question. Okay, so hope to see you for the next video. Take care of yourselves. Have a great week. Bye bye for now.